Yeah, here comes Dago, TruCrime Cafe, steam on the glass, long night, long day. Seeking that truth, only doing it his way. Wall full of notes, red string, cold case. Looking for justice, can't see it real clear. Camera on record, might right by the ear. Pointing out the weirdness, hey look, it's right there. Clips on the timeline, pull up a chair. Here comes Dago with the TruCrime Cafe. Serves it up hot, breaking down the cliche. Keeping it real, making sense of the crate. Let you know how it feels when the world looks away. Here comes Dago, yeah, he carving the lane. Got a nose for the lies and the holes in the game. If you want that truth, better learn his name. TruCrime Cafe, pour it up. No shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame. No shame. Late night upload, eyes red, still sharp. Scrolling through statements, he tearing them apart. Little town secret, big city sin. Every quiet suburb, hiding something within. Victims in the margins, names in the file. He say them out loud, sit in it a while. Weird little detail everybody else missed. He paused on the frame like, yo, peep this. Here comes Dago with the TruCrime Cafe. Serves it up hot, breaking down the cliche. Keeping it real, making sense of the crate. Let you know how it feels when the world looks away. Here comes Dago, yeah, he carving a lane. Got a nose for the lies and the holes in the game. If you want that truth, better learn his name. TruCrime Cafe, pour it up. No shame. Yeah, here comes Dago, TruCrime Cafe, steam on the glass, long night, long day. Seeking that truth, only doing it his way. Wall full of notes, red string, cold case. Looking for justice, can't see it real clear. Camera on record, might right by the ear. Pointing out the weirdness, hey look, it's right there. Clips on the timeline, pull up a chair. Here comes Dago with the TruCrime Cafe. Serves it up hot, breaking down the cliche. Keeping it real, making sense of the crate. Let you know how it feels when the world looks away. Here comes Dago, yeah, he carving the lane. Got a nose for the lies and the holes in the game. If you want that truth, better learn his name. TruCrime Cafe, pour it up. No shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame. No shame. Late night upload, eyes red, still sharp. Scrolling through statements, he tearing them apart. Little town secret, big city sin. Every quiet suburb, hiding something within. Victims in the margins, names in the file. He say them out loud, sit in it a while. Weird little detail everybody else missed. He paused on the frame like, yo, peep this. Here comes Dago with the TruCrime Cafe. Serves it up hot, breaking down the cliche. Keeping it real, making sense of the crate. Let you know how it feels when the world looks away. Here comes Dago, yeah, he carving a lane. Got a nose for the lies and the holes in the game. If you want that truth, better learn his name. TruCrime Cafe, pour it up. No shame. Yeah, yeah. Here comes Dago, TruCrime Cafe.
Yeah. Here come the crew. Here come the crew. Here come the crew. Here come the crew. Yeah. Here come the crew. Here comes the crew. Hey. Blue in the blood, that truth. Hammer in hand, let it ring through the roof. Here comes the blue crew. Stomp when you hear that name. Mama bare leg, whole squad hot like flame. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Woo. They do their thing, hear it sing. Hey. Here comes the blue crew. All eyes locked on the move. Wisdom up above while they walk in the groove. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Yeah. They do their thing, hear it sing. I'm a bad front line, heart like steel. Guarding every soul that love so real. Time boy wild with the sideways grin. Tended pulling up, say let's begin. Lean and cut my sharp like a blade. That's all. Be steady, never once afraid. Sassy Cassie talk slick, quick with the cab. Jesse Lynn slide through, playing in the lab. Quick to bring calm when the storm too loud. Nevada ride deep, head high in the crowd. Lucid morning star eyes, glow in the dark. Physics, super 7-5, leave clues like RKK. Strike fast, pause on the prize, running first and firm. Truth in his eyes, typically unique. Road breaking every mold. Meg with the vision, turn dust into gold. Here comes the blue crew. Stomp when you hear that name. Mama bare leg, whole squad hot like flame. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Woo. They do their thing, hear it sing. Here comes the blue crew. All eyes locked on the move. Wisdom up above while they walk in the groove. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Woo. They do their thing, hear it sing. Hey, the last 24 still counting each day. Bring the beat, press on, never back in the way. Rash, keep receipts, my sharp, no cap. Molly cap, proud, smooth, 2 steps ahead of the trap. All of them link like chain on the gate. Holding that line, never folding the weight. Every little wing, yeah, the heavens all see. Eyes from above, say walk how you be. They move in the mess, still keep that grace. Scuff on their shoes, fire in their face. Hands to the work, hearts never numb. Him in the air like, look what we become. Hey, hey, hey. Up top, wisdom watch. Light on the path, every misstep still met with a laugh. Crew so deep, whole block on the swing. When it's win that truth, let the metal just bring. Here comes the blue crew. Stomp when you hear that name. Mama bare leg, whole squad hot like flame. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Woo. They do their thing, hear it sing. Hey. Here comes the blue crew. All eyes locked on the move. Wisdom up above while they walk in the groove. Dropping that hammer, let it ring, let it ring. Woo. They do their thing, hear it sing. Hey. Here comes the blue crew. Stand up, raise that sound. Hammer to the sky, they shake the ground. Watch from above while they chase that dream. Blue crew, build like a team.
Yeah, yeah. Here comes Dago, TruCrime Cafe. Steam on the glass, long night, long day. Seeking that truth, only doing it his way. Wall full of notes, red string, cold case. Looking for justice, can't see it real clear. Camera on record, mic right by the ear. Pointing out the witness, hey look, it's right there. Clips on the timeline, pull up a chair. Here comes Dago with the TruCrime Cafe. Serves it up hot, breaking down the cliche. Keeping it real, making sense of the crate. Let you know how it feels when the world looks away. Here comes Dago, yeah, he carving the lane. Got a nose for the lies and the holes in the game. If you want that truth, better learn his name. TruCrime Cafe, pour it up. No shame, no shame. No shame, no shame, no shame. No shame. Late night upload, eyes red, still sharp. Scrolling through
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Here we go. TruCrime Cafe. Kicking the door, peel back the day. Seeking that truth, only do it his way. Notes on the napkin, red string on the case. Looking for justice, can't see it real clear. Screens full of static, but the trail's right here, pointing at the weirdness. Zoom, don't blink, hey, look, it's right there. You closer than you think. Yeah, serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Breaking down the on the floor. Walk me through the timeline, then we ask once more. Side-eyeing every story, every hole, every gap. If the glove don't fit, then we redraw the map. From the cold case corners to the heat of the stand, he break it all down, so you finally understand. Clock on the wall, but the grind don't stop. Justice ain't blind, it just been cropped. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. True crime, breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the crazy. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Here we go. Here we go. TruCrime Cafe. Kicking the door, peel back the day. Seeking that truth. Only do it his way. Notes on the napkin, red string on the case. Looking for justice. Can't see it real clear. Screens full of static, but the trail's right here, pointing at the weirdness. Zoom, don't blink. Hey, look, it's right there. You closer than you think. Yeah! Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Yeah. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. No wheels. Yeah, no wheels. Mic on the counter, files on the floor. Walk me through the timeline, then we ask once more. Side-eyeing every story, every hole, every gap. If the glove don't fit, then we redraw the map. From the cold case corners to the heat of the stand, he break it all down, so you finally understand. Clock on the wall, but the grind don't stop. Justice ain't blind, it just been cropped. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. True crime, breaking down the crazy. Put the lies on the tray. Making sense of the cray. Say what you feel. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Serve it up hot at the TruCrime Cafe. Sip on the facts, let the fog burn away. Truth in the cup, take a taste, that's the deal. We shut down the bullshit. Don't give it no wheels. Here we go. Yeah.
All right, guys. Here we go. One more time again. The cafe is open for business. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope everybody's having an amazing day because you are all amazing. Guys, we're jumping to a different state today, guys. We're going to be looking into the Richard Allen appeal document, the answer to the appeal, that document. We're going to be reviewing that and breaking that down today for a bit, seeing what it has to say, what they believe, and what their reaction to him filing an appeal was, what their answer to it basically is. So please make sure to hit the like button. Please make sure to share this out, and please make yourselves at home, guys. And that being said, you guys know how we do this. Let's do this and get it moving, guys. Sorry, a little off today.
flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hug the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the break. At the TruCrime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the TruCrime Cafe.
All right, all right. Welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Sorry, I'm a little off. StreamYard redid everything again, so I'm a little lost. Trying to re-square it all up and remove certain songs from my list that are not liked, I guess. Things like that. Trying to catch up with everything. So my apologies for that, for sounding off. What I mean. Okay. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, hit the like button, please, and share this out, guys. We're jumping into something different today for a change. I think we needed a little break from the Idaho stuff anyway. There was an appeal filed in the Delphi murder case for Richard Allen, and I believe they gave an answer back to it. We're going to look at that document today, break it down, and see what they're saying. My understanding is they're fighting it, but it is what it is. We'll find out for sure, as always. So come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable if you will. Give me 1 minute. And please make sure you hit that like button, if you will, on the way through the door. Okay, let's see what we got here. Who do we got joining us? Leah Story, good to see you today. Moonlit Baby, welcome, welcome, welcome. Michelle F22, good to see you. Pie Norman, welcome back. Hemi's in the house today. Grace Kirk, great to see you. Lizzie Turtleballs, hello and welcome. Blue Eyed Butterfly, welcome, great to see you today. Karmic Retribution in the house, guys. Please make sure we drop her link to make sure everybody gets subscribed to that channel, please and thank you. You don't want to miss anything she puts out. She does amazing content. Bunny Murphy, welcome back to you. Thank you for joining us today. I did receive your gift. Thank you for that so very much. Very much appreciated. I always need these in a bad way. So thank you for that. Sharon Kost, Kost, Kostyuk. I hope I said that right. And welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Moto Man's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Busy's busying around in here. Miss Jessie Lynn, wonderful to see you. Meanie, welcome back to you. Let's see. K Dips, welcome. Great to see you. SREB, BBB. Lisa Winchester, great to see you today. Moonlit Baby, welcome back to you. Happy Friday, guys. I hope you're having a great Friday. I'm sorry, Sharon, that you didn't like the music. My apologies for that. Juror 13, it's great to see you today. Thank you. Chihuahuas in Crime, welcome back to you. Great to see you today. The last 24's in the house. Mikey, great to see you, buddy. Susie with an S, welcome. Says the lurker coming on to say hi. Welcome to you. Manny Gillian, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Happy Friday to you. Dame Shutterberg, welcome to you. Sorry about that. Good to see you fighting for truth. Thank you for joining us today. I enjoy going shopping, so thank you. Tina Skullscar, good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Very much appreciated. Eddie's in the house today. Is that Eddie, I think? Stiggy. Wow, it's been a minute. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Luther75, welcome back to you, dear. Michelle F. starting off number one with our goal today. Thank you for that. Oh, that's a super sticker. Very cute. Thank you for that. One made nut. Yes, Eddie is here. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you, SRB, for that. And anyone that chooses to support us via our Amazon wish list, thank you for that as well. You guys are amazing. It all helps and is all very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, let's see, let's see. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I will catch up with you. I promise. I think I did. I think I did. I think I did. Looks like I did. Sammy T, good to see you today. Hangman, welcome back to you. That's good. Buddy Bear's in the house. What's going on, buddy? Low 12, confirmed by law enforcement. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Meanie, I did say hi, but hello again. I think that's everybody. Anna D, welcome to you. Baby Ames, good to see you today. We won't be in here too awful long, guys. It's probably going to be more of a split. Probably a two-parter for this because it's a 95-page document. Turkey Creek, and I'm hoping this gives some answers to: are they going to give Richard Allen another trial, another chance for the world to see what they did to him the first time, and give this man an option to get some real justice and maybe bring some real justice to the two victims in this horrible case? I hope. I hope. Miss Kim's in the house. Good to see you. Typically unique. Guys, make sure her link is dropped as well, please, and thank you. I'm not going to say it right, but Daenerys Targaryen, welcome. Gimme Kim. Mountain Mama. Welcome to you, Mountain Mama. Give it just a few more minutes to make sure we got everybody in here. We're going to have, and then we'll get this kicking. For those of you that have not followed the Delphi murder case, Richard Allen was convicted and found guilty of murdering um, two girls in Delphi, Indiana, um, Abby and Libby. And I personally believe that he's not the one that did this because they had absolutely nothing on proving that he did, besides a bullet that doesn't make any sense to me. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with Delphi, that's basically the story there. But for those of you that are, you know the story, and there's so much more ridiculous stuff in this case. This is just as bad, if not worse, in some ways than Delphi or than Idaho. Sorry. Come on in, come on in. By the way, Kim, I left you a link if you're interested or able. If not, no worries. Just thought so you know you're welcome. And I didn't, sorry, Lizzie, I didn't realize Logan was going to be live too. I didn't think she would be today because she said she wasn't feeling good last night. So my apologies for that, you guys. Now I see it. Um, I'm sorry for that. I should have looked. No problem, Kim. In some ways, this case is worse than Idaho, in my opinion. Just saying. Red popsicles are your favorite. I'm glad I know that, bud. Thank you. Soft toilet paper is my favorite too. That seems like the FRE MO to just, yeah, it is. I agree. I do agree. One's Delphi, the other's probably not. Well, that's good. At least we're doing different things. I feel bad because I like to be able to catch her lives too, but hopefully we'll be together tonight on Crimes After Dark and we can talk about what we both did. All right, come on in, you guys. I agree with that too, Low 12. He deserves to be. All right, let me see something here. Okay. Do me a favor. For those of you that are here, do me a quick favor and put a one in the chat if you followed the Delphi case, please. Hey, Fizzy. The Fizzness is in the house. No, I'm not froze. I hope I'm not. Senior Wazowski, what's up, brother? Cynthia Rose, RN, welcome. SoCal Deb, welcome. Good to have you here. Susie with an S. I see some new faces in here for this, I'm guessing. Wonderful to have you here. Hope to see you more often. Mary Casey, good to see you. She said 1.5. Know about it, but haven't done a deep dive. That's all good. No worries. Any questions you have, we'll do our best to answer. Grateful for you to be here, Deb. Appreciate that. We are voting on if you already know this one, SRB, if you have covered or followed the Idaho 4, or I'm sorry, the Delphi case. Got Idaho 4 in the brain. Turkey Creek gal, good to see you. Followed closely, especially the trial. I was glued to my computer. Yes. Yes. Miss Kim was a teacher, for those of you that are asking. Moto Man says 1.33333333. Awesome. Another crazy case. Another crazy case. Absolute ridiculousness and insanity in this one, that's for sure. I don't know what is going on. I'm craving Subway, you guys. What's up with that? I don't even like Subway anymore. All right, 73 peeps in the house. Guys, please make sure to hit the like button. Burrow down Minete, welcome. It is sickening. I agree with that, Burrow. Like I said, this is just as bad, if not worse in some ways, than Delphi or than Idaho. Jesus, I'm confusing the hell out of them both. These two were my two main cases this past 3 years, truly and honestly, because of the injustice in both of them. This one has, in some ways, more injustice than the Idaho case. And then the Idaho case, in some senses, has more secrecy and BS in it. You know what I mean? So that's the problem with both. Beck Blythe. Good to see you. Sorry. Michelle, thank you again. Another one says, I just want to say, Dago, you are the best, and thank you for bringing all the lies and corruption. Thank you so much, Michelle, and you are amazing. Thank you for that. Your kind words mean everything to me, you guys. Everything, truly and honestly. This is why I come back every day. Sometimes I feel like I should just be done with it. And when you guys say stuff like that to me, it makes it worth it to me every single day. So thank you. Thank you, Hangman. I appreciate that very much. It is. This one is truly and honestly, absolutely an innocent man in prison. There's no way they had less in this case to prove guilt than they did in Idaho, in my opinion. Like I said. So thank you again, Michelle, for that. And to anybody that chooses to support us, donations of any sort are never expected. But if you have chosen to super chat us or do anything with the Amazon list or even through Venmo, PayPal, or Snapchat, thank you so much. It does pay our bills and keep us going. So God bless and thank you guys. Brian would have been found guilty also, just like Alan, had he gone to, yeah, I agree with that too. Even if there was a trial, unfortunately, we would have saw a guilty plea on that. I think somehow they would have made it happen. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. I was shutting you off on my headphones.
Oh, you're okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about this.
Yes, yes. Oops, Luther75, thank you. Why aren't these showing up underneath my...
There's Sluther. Hello.
Oh, how did it end already? That makes no sense. This is stupid. Oh, I see what happened. It was the wrong thing. Thank you so much, Luther. You're amazing. And God bless to all you guys for these super chats and super stickers. You guys are amazing. Period. Miss Kim is joining me today with Typically Unique. Thank you for being here. Always love when she's here with me. It's always a great conversation. We always have a great way of bouncing things off each other and coming up with things that we normally probably wouldn't by ourselves, in my opinion. So,
yeah,
there's it's always fun. So, what did we haven't really talked about it before, but how much did you follow Delphi, Kim?
From the beginning, like caught my attention and followed it up until I don't know a lot about the appeal process, I guess.
Right. Right. Neither do I.
And yeah, I think I know quite a bit about like the alternative people. I forget names, like
Yeah.
I can describe people, but I forget some of the people's main
I
players'
have those.
names.
I can
But
give you that. That's engraved in my mind for some reason.
yeah,
I can throw all the names out there that I remember. There's actually one or two that I think I forget, but somebody in here will throw it at us.
yeah. And I did go out there. That was crazy.
That's true. You did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. Crazy area, isn't it? Lee went out there from Devil's Advocates too, and he said the same
It's
thing. It's a little different.
when you're driving around the town, it looks like a small town and it's tiny, tiny.
Right.
But when you're on that trail, it's so isolated. And I went with two other female friends, and as soon as we got around the bend of the trail where it's nothing but trees and a cliff, we were like, "Uh-oh.
Right. Yeah.
Should we be doing this?"
Oh,
Because it
Lee
wasn't
said
safe.
it was right, and Lee said that when him and Rhonda went, that's Lee's wife, Rhonda, that when they were heading in that one direction, there were signs up that says, "Do not do this at night. Do not do this alone." Like, they're putting signs out in their own town telling people, "Don't come here alone. Don't come here at night, especially not at night." And I'm like, "What in the hell's going on with this?" They're warning people because they know that they don't trust their own people to not do crazy things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, we
it's
had a guy they have benches, like, off the path facing the creek down below, so you don't see them, especially if you've never been there before, and you're just walking down the path, and some guy got up and comes walking out of the woods. We're like, "What?"
that's what I'm talking about. And you
Yeah.
don't know who is who, you know?
No.
And the theories on this case, you guys, they started off in the beginning with this, and the Odinism thought was brought to the table. There were 3 officers that followed this. I'm just giving you guys a quick one up on this.
Yeah.
There were 3 officers that kept going and following the narrative of behind the Odinism thing. One of
Mhm.
them ended up shot dead in front of his office, okay, by a corrections officer, former corrections officer from a prison, okay? We've
Wonder
had
who they're
many.
connected with.
Yeah, right, right. Judge Gall, the judge that presided over this case, refused, and I mean refused, to allow the word Odinism stated in her courtroom, and threatened that if you do, you'll be held in contempt and you will be arrested. And this didn't even follow the actuality of what Odinism is, the actual religion of Odinism. They
Right.
took it and they twisted it into something called more along the lines of heathenism, it's called, and did put their own little whatever to the on top of it. You know what I mean? Which is, you don't shouldn't do that, but okay. And everybody denied it. Everybody said no, no, we don't do that out here. It doesn't happen in Delphi. It doesn't happen in Indiana.
Even
So
though
then,
there's people with tattoos of a symbol on them,
right,
and
and then yeah, and that's what I was going to next. Richard Allen goes first off, gets arrested for this crime after going in on his own recognizance to assist in the case to try to help. They arrest him basically after interrogating him and his wife and everybody else, and threatening him and telling him, "You did it. We know you did it." Okay. They arrest him and they take him and indict him, and he goes to prison, not jail, prison. Before he was ever convicted, he went to prison. He was sent straight off to Westville Penitentiary. That's where he went. Then he was kept, as he's in prison, he's kept in solitary confinement for 13 months, folks. That's a year and a month. A lot of people don't realize that they're only allowed to do that by law. I think it's only 3 months. Or no,
Mhm.
not 3 months. It's 13 weeks,
Yeah,
something
which is
like that.
close to that. It's close to that time, yeah.
Okay. So and again, then they're saying this man is eating his own feces. He's chewing up his documents and eating them. He admits to committing the crimes to his wife on the phone, and they're saying, "No, you didn't do this. Why are you saying this?" And one of the calls we listened to during the case, you could hear him say, "There's somebody standing here. I must have done this." Yeah, that sounds like, That sounds like straight and forward. 30
But
days. Thank you,
because
Mandy.
because it's I don't know how verified, but well, I think they talked about it in court with them drugging him, right?
He was put on, oh my god, I know the name of the medication, and it was without doctors, like, it wasn't a real doctor, it wasn't his doctor. They didn't diagnose him and then put him on this. They put him on Halidol, okay?
A heavy
Halidol,
psychotropic drug or something, right?
psychotropic, yes, it's very strong. They put him on Halidol, he had never taken it before, and then, like, really? Okay, Haldol. That's a strong drug, guys, for somebody that doesn't take it. It doesn't need it per se, okay? They had him pumped full of that. They were threatening him. You know, at some point somebody had told me, I think it was um I'm trying to remember these psychotropic Thorazine or one that started with a P that he had been given at one point. I don't know for a fact if that's true, but I do know the Halidol stuff because it was documented. So then they send in the person that the therapist he was speaking to, mind you, was he was following YouTube channels,
Oh, it was a therapist. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay? And like what? No. This is not professional by any means. So the
YouTube
guard,
channels that were talking about the Delphi
yeah,
case.
yeah, right. That's what well, I should have said that, but that's what I meant. Yes. Um and was her Monica something was her name? I can't remember, but she was yeah,
Walla. Put
it,
Walla.
was it Walla? Thank you guys. Yeah, she was like a fan of YouTubers. Like nothing against us, but you're a doctor. You're a therapist, okay? Not this doesn't you shouldn't be using and the things she was saying and stuff were so unprofessional. It was unbelievable. But anyway, I don't trust it. I'll just say that. Um um yeah, she commented too. That's a good point. Thank you, Carrie. Good to have you here. But yeah, she commented in things about things too.
Yeah.
She was very biased, okay? Not a good thing. Um So that was happening when every time Richard Allen would contact his attorney or his attorney would contact him or anybody, how's my family? Is my family okay? I don't get it. They when he would meet with his attorneys, they'd put him inside some kind of a what looks like a tray carrier for food trays with a little slide, like a little slot in it that he could see 6 feet away from them. And then they would videotape his conversations with his attorneys. That's not legal to me. The man was coerced, forced, threatened. There was a man that wrote down a statement that watched and listened to this stuff happen, and he's an inmate. And an inmate coming forth and putting out things like that has got nothing to lose, or gain, I should say, nothing to gain except negative attention from the COs. Speaking of, the COs were coming to work wearing "In Odin We Trust" patches on their uniforms, which is not legal. So when it was finally brought to the table, this is a problem. They removed the patches and then got tattoo right here that says this with the symbol and everything. How the hell is this legal, folks? Explain that to me, anybody.
Mhm.
But they did it. So then Fran Gall, thank you so much, Beck. I appreciate that very much. Um, love that. That's cute. Super sticker. Very much appreciated. You're an angel. So they go to court. Fran Gall, the judge that's presiding over this, basically blackmailed and threatened Rosie and Baldwin, which was the defense team for um, Richard Allen, to recuse themselves or else, because at some point there was a leak that came out. Also, this is something else I have to throw out. I'm sorry, I forgot to put this in. I know I'm all mixed out of order, guys. I'm just trying to give everybody a little refresher.
These are the
There was
these are the
there's been
highlights.
yeah, there's been multiple people that have lost their lives over this case, mind you. Okay, there was a leak that came out. The crime scene photographs with the girls' bodies in them were leaked out by somebody that used to work for the defense team. Okay, used to, wasn't currently, but used to. This person went in to have a meeting with Rosie, I believe it was. There went into one of the rooms. There were some photographs that were in there. Took pictures of them, and then guess how they ended up out here? Through one of the other, I can't remember the channel name, so on and so forth. But the middleman in between that situation took his own life. These things don't happen in day after day life, folks. It's just not normal. Okay, it's not.
Can I
So
make a comment about that?
please do.
I feel that they had to do that. I feel like we think this case is bad now. Imagine if, because those pictures showed the symbols, the symbol
Yeah, I
shapes.
agree with you. I was going to go there next. You're right.
Okay, right? If they, what if those never would have gotten leaked? Then that really would have never come out. And I just don't think people would have questioned as much.
Yes,
I don't
because
know.
the
That's just a
victims.
thought.
Yeah, you're right. The victims were found. Their bodies were placed. They didn't fall there. They were placed in specific positions that matched up with Odinistic or heathenistic runic type
Runes.
designing. Okay,
Yeah.
and there were tree limbs that were cut, broken, and laid on top of them as well. They said they were there to hide them. No, they weren't. They were laid in specific stylings to match the runics, the runes. I'm sorry, in the Odinistic religion. Then they have people coming out here that are ex FBI experts, such as Jennifer Hackenkoffer, is saying they just fell out of the tree and landed that way. Yeah. So,
No, no, and that's another thing on that trail. There are lots of, like, we started noticing branches in weird shapes, like lots of Y shapes along the trail. And then we started looking and they didn't look broke, like they look cut. And
they
so
were cut. Yeah.
yeah, we were just looking all along the trail for those kinds of things. It was just weird.
Yes, it was Murder Sheet Podcast. Thank you, SRB. That was the name
That
of
that is how I started. I listened to a lot of information from them, even though I know
Yeah,
they got a little shady, like
right.
they think he did it.
They can think what they want. That's fine. Go for it. You know what? I have a lot of respect for Bob Motto too, because he was really, really covering this case hardcore, followed it, him and his wife, Allie, all of it. And they know that he didn't do it. But at the same time, they think Brian Koberger did it. So you could take one without the other without the one. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to be able to see it for what it is, in my opinion. So I was not a fan of Murder Sheet Podcast. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not going to be disrespectful to him, but I just wasn't a fan. I just didn't feel like we got the truth out of that. We had a very biased broadcast from them per se on almost a regular basis, and it just wasn't right. I can listen to both sides of everything and talk about both sides of everything. When you show me the proof, I'll show it to you. They never showed me any proof. There's a bullet that was found in the ground between the two girls' bodies. It was not fired through a weapon. It had been loaded into the weapon and racked and then re-racked, and it fell out of the weapon. That's how they found it, they said.
And they said it's Richard Allen's bullet.
They said it belonged to Richard Allen, that it went into his gun, which is a very common gun to own. Lots of people own these guns, okay? I have two friends that have two of them, okay? When they got to court, understand this. When they got to court, the expert that they had that said that this is how it was done, they could prove it. They had to fire it out of the gun to prove that it was the what, which is not how this worked. So once again, more BS, okay? So as I was starting to say, because I'm all over the place, Fran Gall blackmailed and forced the defense team to recuse themselves, okay? They did. She chose the two new attorneys for this. One of them was a friend of hers we found on Facebook. They were Facebook friends, so on and so forth. And he's actually the one I trust, okay? He came forth and did an interview and stated that when he's the one that told about all this stuff, how, how they treated Alan, how he could never talk to him. They moved him far away, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Okay. I said that 3 times now. So, and then talked about the town, how they asked him, and the man looked scared when he was talking about this. I'm trying to think of what his name was. William Rabada. No. One of you guys will throw it at me. I know you will. It starts with a B. Anyway, come to find out, after this man did his interview talking about this, okay, he said he was seeing, like, Jeeps driving around that have the cover on the spare tire that says, Hail Odin and stuff like that on it. So it was he said that the town was very much this way. And he couldn't believe it because he had never seen anything like it before. And he said that the threats that were being made, how people were treating Alan, all of these kinds of things. He told the world, you know. And again, he seemed a little nervous talking about it. And then come to find out, not too long later, the man was jumped and beat to death almost. Okay, and he retracted certain statements he made. It was insane. Okay, I read the document on that one. Why? Why does this happen? Why is this legal? Oh wait, it's not. But why is it allowed to happen? Okay. And for an attorney to come forward and be scared telling something and then that happened to him, that's crazy, you guys. That is crazy. I even listened to the 911 call for when what the hell is his name? William something. William oh yeah, he did, Joanne. You can hear it on the 911 call. They say you need to get down here. Such and such, this attorney, he's an attorney, blah blah blah. You got the hell beat out of him, so on and so forth. That's the 911 call. This is how they were talking over the radio. It's crazy. What's up, Scully? Good to see you, brother. So there again, all of these things are happening. Okay, like I said, the one gentleman that was following the Odinistic theory worked for the task force for the FBI. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail through his window. He goes outside armed of the FBI office that he was working out of, and it was gunned down and shot to death in front of his office. Are you serious? You have people that are admitting to spitting on the victims or the graves. You have people admitting to doing this, doing that on their Facebook pages, showing these things, making like fun of the situation that were never even looked at.
Yep.
They claim that the man on the bridge is the murderer, and the man on the bridge is anywhere between 5'10", 6'1". Richard Allen's 5'4". He's just a little dude. Okay, the man on the bridge is not. They have who I believe to be highly involved in this, where they found the girls' bodies on his property, Ron
Yeah.
Logan, in
Oh yeah.
custody, and then he dies from the big C. His girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, comes forward and says, "I know he did it. I know his voice. I hear his voice in the bridge guy call, and that's what I hear too. But he kind of looks like him to me too. But
Mhm.
they find these girls on his property, but he had nothing to do with it. He lied about his alibi. I mean, everything that we've
And they
seen.
couldn't find the girls that night. They couldn't find the girls that night, and he
No,
lives right there. They could have easily I've always thought they took them to his house or one of his outbuildings, and I
that's what
think
I
it was
think they were.
more than one person,
Yes,
because how would you
I
get
asked.
them back or how would you transport them?
That's it. Yeah, Indiana State Police even said more than once they believe there's more than one person involved in this. Multiple
Mhm.
people, they've said. Yeah, exactly. Lisa, he did have a limp. Logan had a bit of a limp. He was old. You know what I mean? He probably had a bad knee like I do. And he walked a little different. Richard Allen didn't have a limp. He didn't walk weird. He walked like everybody else. The man on that bridge has a bit of a gink to his leg when he's
Uh-huh,
walking. So,
mhm.
oh
And
my
think
God.
about that town and those people in that town have so much scary power that the state police can't even do anything.
That's right. William Labrato was his name, Kim.
Labrato. I
Yeah,
was gonna say I thought it started with a B.
it
Labrato, okay.
did. Something like that. But yeah. One second. Yeah, that was him. That was one of them. It was William Labrato. I think Joanne found it, and Robert Scremin. That's it.
I have to
That's
go grab my Delphi notebook. I'll be right back.
Go for it. All right, I'm going to show you guys something real quick before we get into the document, just to give you a little insight into this. All right, This isn't the full in-depth, but this will tell you enough to know. I think it's important to see this, too. This is just a quick, unless I can find a better, which they have pulled some of it, and I think it's because of that. Welcome, George. Good to see you. Thank you, Joanne. Great job on that, finding that for me. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. All right, here we go.
Loaded with regard to this case?
I
You had not heard of Odinism when it first was floated with regard to this case?
I honestly thought, I was like, no disrespect to Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rosie, because they're excellent lawyers. I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't. I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into
These are the patches that were on the CO's uniform at the prison that Richard Allen was in, mind you.
it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one.
Look at that. That came from him, mind you. Okay? They've never said that before. One of the girls was found with her blood completely drained from her body and completely unclothed. The other girl was wearing her clothes and the other girl's clothes, if I'm correct. It's been a long time, guys, so bear with me. I might get some things wrong, but I will fix them as I go. Anything that I may put out the wrong way. George King, welcome. Or Papa George, welcome. So, and that's what I believe happened too. One of the girls was murdered. The other one was sacrificed based on what they have found and saw. Watch the way he acts during this interview. He looks nervous to me about everything he says. So,
some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and other.
You had not heard of
all right, once all right, here we go. I had the wrong one up. I'm sorry about that.
And rarely do I believe it. But in this particular case, I believe it 100%.
And what convinced you?
Conversations with him, the fact that he lived in this very small community that's not much bigger than a high school. He worked at the CVS in Delphi. The police sketches are hung up in the CVS.
For years, you guys, 6 years, 5 years, whatever it was. Oh, Papa G, good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. All those years, those sketches were hanging up on the wall where he worked, the bar he hung out in. Nobody ever looked at it and said, "Oh my God, that's you." Seriously? Something's wrong. Just saying.
Bridge guy picture is in the CVS, and in 5.5 years, no one comes into that store and says that kind of looks like you. And I don't know if this has any relevance, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but an arrest was made 24, 27 days before a sheriff election. Just my humble opinion that played some kind of role in his arrest. And he hadn't moved.
The secondary sketch, the one of the younger person, was kept buried for years Didn't come out for years till they found it conveniently. There's another thing. Exactly, Jesse.
Can't change his story. No facts or evidence have changed to my knowledge.
Richard Allen told the same exact story from the moment that he told it, the same way every time. Nothing changed. Nothing. Not one word. The other people that should have been looked into at this, things have flip-flopped left and right. So remember that too. Oh, right. No, not one person ever looked at those photographs of the sketch or any of that and said, that's the bridge guy. I think you did this. Not one time in 5.5 years. Again, something's wrong with it.
That brought law enforcement back to him 5.5 years later. He has no criminal record.
He is nervous as hell. Tomboy's right. And everybody here that knows this knows why. Because, again, this man was jumped and had the hell beat out of him. You tell me what that means.
They raided his house, took all of his social media. There's no ties to this Odinistic cult whatsoever. He didn't even know that there was Odinist in Delphi. He had never heard of it. Just a lot of things don't make sense.
Bradley Rosie and Andrew Baldwin also said that that there's no electronic evidence linking him to the crime scene or the girls, and that there's no DNA of his at the scene. Is that accurate?
Yes. As far as I can tell, yes.
All right.
Never
We're
has
bringing some
been.
more guests to join me and Barbara here. Joining us in Orange County, California, the author of Forest for the Trees, a book about the Delphi murders, investigative producer Chris Todd. And in Salt Lake City, Utah, retired police commander, religious cult expert, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, and the author associated with this. Was it on the radar?
Very early on, loosely, it was talked about, like kind of rumor mill. But I think this Odin stuff is kind of like Nazism, to be honest. And if you really look at that logo, I see like a swastika almost inside there. So I'm just saying, like, I think it's, to quote the prosecutor, I think it's colorful. And I think it's an interesting way for these defense attorneys to talk about this. But we're looking around all again when we had somebody right in front of us very early on. And then we get to Richard Allen many years later, and it's perplexing. I don't have all the answers, but that's my quick thought on the Odin thing.
Now, Mike King, I want to put this back up on the screen because these are the people watching Richard Allen. Those patches reflect the sergeant's religious beliefs and are not associated with any kind of cult. Sergeant Redacted did not remove the patches from his vest until ordered to do so by command. And then apparently,
there's your proof that this happened, because people didn't believe that this was happening. I was called a liar, that I was making things up, so on and so forth. There's the document right there, folks. Okay.
they got the tattoo. All right. So Mike King, where do you see the line between religion and cult? Because I think that's significant here, because if someone's practicing the religion, they're practicing.
And that William Labrato, was the defense attorney for Richard Allen when Rosie and Baldwin were gone for that period of time. They had to go to the Supreme Court level to get reinstated. And they tried to get Gall to recuse herself, and she refused. She refused. Absolutely refused. She refused that. She refused you were not allowed to say the word Odinism. Okay. And again, she refused and rejected the third party defense. Nothing about any of that could be spoken about whatsoever. They didn't even get a quarter of the evidence and information in this case. Nobody knows anything about the Floor 4 fire, which I do absolutely believe that is attached to this in a bad way. Patrick Westfall, Brad Holder, Ron Logan, Elvis Fields, many other names that are attached to this that were not ever even brushed against in the trial, folks.
Keegan
Kine, thank you. I knew I was going to forget.
And his dad, Tony.
And his dad, Tony. Yes, thank you, Kim. So,
and they had, I feel like they ignored the evidence in their face. Like step number one,
yes,
they had Abby's, I believe. Is she the one that had the phone? They were texting someone, thought it was a
Yeah.
boy, and
Yes.
that's the reason they were going to the trail. And they connected that account back to Keegan.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was
Not
in
to
their
mention
face. Like, it was in their
right,
face, and they, like, went nowhere with it.
and Abby was dating Brad Holder's son, Logan,
Yeah.
okay? Again, things in their face that they said, "That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it." It's this guy, this 5'4" guy that was nowhere near this, that had nothing to do with this, that just wanted to help us find this, that nobody looked at for 5.5 years. He did it all by himself. He did it. He drugged both the girls out there after hiding them in his ass. Who knows where he hid them for the night, and brought them back out and put them in the middle of the woods by himself. He did it. Okay. I'm so irritated with this. They had to have been kept somewhere overnight and then brought back out the next morning. That's exactly how this had to happen. And that takes more than one person. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Tandy, busy. Good to see you guys. This
And
case
because
irritates me to no end.
yeah. And they know that the girls, one of they had one phone, okay? And I get the girls mixed up. I think it was Libby's phone.
It-
But they had it turning on in the middle of the night. Like, someone turned the phone on or did something with the
It was turned
phone
back
in the middle of
on
the
and
night.
then turned. Yeah, right. That's what happened. I believe is correct.
But
It
there were
doesn't.
people out there most of the night. I mean, I think they left at like 2 a.m, the searchers, but someone was on a post.
Right, right. You are correct. But that someone, you got to wonder about that someone.
Right.
If they didn't see anything, because you got to go down and around across the river and all this other stuff, folks. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Tandy. Um, and as you're going to see, the state's response to this is a joke. It truly is, but we'll see what happens. I'm just giving you guys, like I said, a little heads up, little update on how this all went down.
Do you know if they tried to, like, they asked for Judge Gall to be recused and she refused, but did they take it to a court that
Yeah,
could have
they took it.
forced her?
They took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said no.
Oh my gosh.
They said no. Judges
Wow.
don't do that to each other. That's how that works.
Wow. Well, that's not true because I don't know. There was another recent case where somebody did get recused.
I mean, it does happen, but like,
Yeah.
there's some kind of power over this case, you guys, that I can't explain to you. Indiana Supreme Court, I just feel like they all know each other. It sounds familiar. It reminds me of Letcher County. Okay.
Yeah.
It really truly does, which I wouldn't doubt. Letcher County, Kentucky, Delphi, Indiana, they're kind of the same type town. They truly are. Flora, Indiana, again, same type areas. They're small towns, good old boy mentality. You know what I mean?
It's the same with Moscow. I think that's and Boise. It's like it's the whole system. Once the
Yeah.
system turns that way, you either join it or you're out, and I think that's why
it.
Ann Taylor knew not to even ask. Like, she didn't even approach trying to
Right.
get Hitler
Yes.
recused because it ultimately would have made it worse.
They're giving the wrong people. They're putting the wrong people in power. Okay. And I've been saying this for 5 years now, since I started touching the keyboard here. Okay. And it's just gotten stronger and stronger to where I'm actually voicing it, but it's what it is. Power versus the people. The power is where it's at. And if you have the power, we don't exist. Okay. That's why we do what we do. Okay. By pushing and verbalizing what we do. So if you have issues with this, understanding this, believing this, I promise you, myself, Tomboy, Seahawks fan, because of Tomboy, and many of us out there, Kim, many of us here have just about every background detail on this, folks, because we saw probably. I think I know more about this case than I know about Idaho, to be honest with you. Because there was so much. I covered the Flora 4 fire. Okay, the 4 little girls that passed away in the Flora 4 fire, and come to find out, one of the main names in this case, Patrick Westfall, when the Flora house burnt down, he lived 8 houses down from that house. Now you tell me, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm sorry. I just don't. Out of 6,800 people in that town, there were 68 African Americans living in that town. Okay. We all know how this area is. Okay. Trish Crow showed up on Devil's Advocates last night on panel and mentioned the fact that the 3Ks are still very active in that area and have been for years. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's 2026. Grow up. Get over yourselves. That's all I'm saying. If you don't like it, move. That's all I mean. People, just because somebody's a different race doesn't mean that they're any less than we are. And I'm sick and tired of people thinking that. Just because somebody dates somebody that's a different race, it's not our business. So, and that's a lot of what's going on with this stuff, you guys. It really is. And it's about money, power, um, and many other things like it's just insane to me. I'll keep rolling, but if I don't shut up, I'm gonna let the rest of this play, and we'll get into the actual appeal part of it. That's why we're here today.
Okay.
They're not set up for visitation, so we were literally in a makeshift kitchen, and he was in a cell. We had to stand 6 feet back, and he's talking through the slot where they put the tray of food through. And
that is the little thing they created for Richard Allen to sit in, chained, mind you. He had on the box chains around his feet, his chest, his hands, his waist. His hands were chained together like this, same way they took him to court, and chained against his chest so he couldn't move inside that thing to talk to his attorney. That's illegal. That is not legal, okay? And they filmed it with a video camera. Are you kidding me? Everything they've done is illegal, and not one damn person called it out. This case makes me, we're almost more sick than, like I said, Idaho does, because look at that. Does that look like something somebody could sit in or behind? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't wheel him into court on a dolly with the face mask on like they did Lecter. I'm just telling you.
Not a very conducive way to have meaningful conversations with your client. I couldn't hand him documents. I couldn't have him sign documents. And, I'm sure it was very difficult for him to see the videos we were showing him through that slot. So, I'm not criticizing the Department of Corrections. I mean, for whatever reason, he was moved there. They're not set up for visitation, but you can't have I couldn't have been prepared for trial even in October if that was how all the visits were going to be conducted.
And you've handled death penalty cases. Have you ever had a pre-trial defendant treated the same way as Richard Allen?
Never. Never in my 25 years or Sremen's 25 years have we ever had a murder client held pre-trial in a maximum security facility and then was.
Has anybody ever heard of a pre-trial defendant being stuck in prison ever before convicted? They go to the county jail. That's where they sit until they go to trial. Period. Not this guy.
Transfer from one maximum security facility to another. Never.
And in your motion to transfer, you guys described him as being treated like Hannibal Lecter.
Particularly in Westville, at least we are allowed to sit face to face across the table from him. But the way he was handcuffed and to his chest, I mean, it looked extraordinarily uncomfortable. I couldn't shake his hand. We couldn't have him sign anything. I visited clients in prison on several occasions. That was different than anything I've ever experienced before.
And the way his hands were shackled were similar to how we see him in court, right?
Yes,
Where
exactly
it's like the tops of the hands are touching.
Yes.
And it's way up high on his chest.
It's connected to a.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. As I watched this man wither away to nothing, because he did. When he went in jail, he looked nothing like this, okay? Or prison. He was starving himself to death because he was afraid to eat their food. I don't blame him. All this other stuff happened. And this, mind you, don't worry, you guys. This is part 1 of 2 for us to cover this appeal thing. So we'll do the rest of it tomorrow. I'm just saying. I just want people to understand the depth of the level of insane craziness that this case involves as we look at his appeal on this, okay? And I know there's a lot of people that didn't really follow this, so that's why I'm doing all this. I thought, and I'll be honest with you, I thought that Richard Allen was going to be found dead before the trial. That's truly what I thought. Okay? And I won't get into why, but I did honestly think that.
Box on his chest. I've never seen that. I've never seen anyone confined in that manner before.
So why? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. He is 5'6", 120, 130 pounds. He is not a physical threat to anyone. From all accounts, he's been a model citizen because he's locked down 23 hours a day. We told the confinement.
Has anybody ever seen an attorney give an interview that seems as nervous as this guy? Ever? This guy looks like he's scared of everything he's saying. To me, okay? To me, it's my opinion, and I've thought that from the moment I watched this interview.
Officers that we wanted him unhandcuffed, so we could shake his hand and maybe have him sign documents, and they weren't budging on that. And it was sad because Westville allows visits, so his wife could come see him. And they just set up a visit with his mom and dad. He was transferred to Wabash 2 days before that visit. No, I don't think one had anything to do with the other. I just think it was bad timing and a coincidence. But
I think they did it on purpose. I'll be honest with you. I do.
In Wabash, you're not allowed any visits. Obviously, attorney, but no family members.
All right, this is a little unusual. Barbara McDonald, let me ask you, the way this breaks down, right? So the defense is alleging that Odenus committed this murder. It was part of the investigation by part of that team that was investigating this, a faction of the team. And then he's moved from the normal county facility to a state prison facility, extremely unusual. And there are Odenus guards there.
There are. And not only Odenus guards there, but guards who are told stop wearing the patches, and then at least one of them comes to work with the tattoo on his face.
On his face. Mike King, this is very unusual. I mean, what are your thoughts about transferring from a county facility to a state prison, number one, and then, the way he's handcuffed and all the concerns, I guess, that the correctional facilities have for this pretrial detainee?
I guess two things, Vinny, based on my experience. And the first is that I've seen inmates be moved from a county jail to a larger facility because of resources, the ability to have a better way of caring for them. When I hear this, I'm just shaking my head and wondering what on earth is so necessary in the control.
I counted at one point in time for one of the hearings he was brought to 12 guards walking with him. 12. What is this guy going to do that 12 men need to walk with him? Even after he's chained like this. Still, 12. This is absolute insanity. This is it's propaganda to create a narrative against him. Because they knew, just like in Idaho, folks, they had nothing against him. They had to make the world look at him like he was a monster. Period. The court of public opinion strikes again. So, there it is, guys. This is what happened to Richard Allen. Why we're so appalled, for lack of better terms. what establishment exactly did the guy with the face tat work at? It was at Westville Prison. Busy. Um, he is now in Oklahoma since his conviction. He's been moved to another prison. I have no idea what's going on there. They tell us nothing. So, that is the synopsis of that. Okay, and you guys heard this is not just coming out of my mouth. You heard the attorney Labrado tell the world about the patch, the tattoo, all of it. Okay, that came from the attorney's mouth, not ours. And then some. So, um, anyway, moving on to this appeal. He was convicted, given life in prison. He was actually given multiple life sentences, wasn't he, Kim? If I remember correctly.
I think so.
I thought he
The
was. Yeah.
2 victims, yeah.
Guys, make sure you subscribe to Typically Unique Miss Kim's channel, if you will, please, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, SRB.
I would hope it's gotta be I wouldn't think it would be worse conditions moving to a different state, even if they can still reach out to members or whatever. I
Right.
mean, it's wouldn't be as personal to them, so I hope
But his
he's in better
family
conditions.
is in Indiana. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's the shit. Like, they're really railing this guy for he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And at some point, maybe tomorrow, I'll show you Richard Allen's intake interview when he did his whole interrogation. It's disgusting. It's
No.
disgusting.
Yeah, he flat out said, like, he's the fall guy. Like, he knew it. He knew it. And he said it. And you could just imagine, like, did Brian Koberger also know it? But he just didn't say it.
No, right. Yeah, he's probably thinking it now. Like, wow, now I know what you're going through, bro. It's sad. It is so sad. Yeah, he's in Oklahoma, you guys. That's where he was moved to after conviction.
Yeah.
So here we are, guys. Table of contents on this. Let me blow this up a little bit. Like I said, we're not going to get through a lot of this today because I have to be out of here in about probably 40 minutes. But I just wanted
And
to
what
get
is
started.
this?
This is the answer to the appeal. Richard Allen filed an appeal,
Okay.
obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah. And this is the state's brief of the appellee. Richard Allen is the appellant. Defendant, state versus the state of Indiana, so and so forth. Appeal from the Carroll Circuit Court. And the honorable or unhonorable, as I would call her, Frances Gall. She's a mess. A mess. Shows the table of contents. And I'm going to go through certain things, guys, but this is 95 pages, mind you. There's certain things that don't have any meaning whatsoever to this. So we have to start. I think it's page 10 where this starts. It's a statement of the case. Okay, the rest of this is just a bunch of BS. So let me slide down through here. It gives a whole bunch of case law from different cases, blah, 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 blah. No bearing on anything. So here we go. What are we asking about Oklahoma again? That's where Richard Allen was moved to since he's been convicted, was Oklahoma, in a prison out there. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. Not right now, at least. The statement of the issues is whether the admission of evidence seized from Allen's home constituted fundamental error. Whether the trial court properly admitted, this is the reasons for his appeal, folks, so in case you didn't understand. Whether the trial court properly admitted Allen's confessions, because at one point he did confess to a crime, this crime, over the phone to his wife. But he also, as I told you, my opinion is as he was doing it, there were people standing there watching and listening to what he was saying, forcing him to say what he said. He even says it in one of the calls. So whether the trial court properly excluded and admitted various pieces of evidence, we know that they didn't. And that they did. Whether the trial court properly denied Allen's motion to correct error. No. And then the statement of the case again. On October 28th of 22, the state charged Richard Allen with 2 counts of felony murder. The information was amended on March 22nd of 24 to add 2 counts of murder. Following a jury trial between October 14th and November 11th of 24, the jury found Allen guilty as charged. On December 20th of 2024, the trial court vacated the felony murder convictions and imposed consecutive 65-year sentences on Allen's 2 murder convictions. Okay, there's the answer to my question. To run consecutively, nonstop. Allen filed a motion to correct error on January 20th of 25, to which the state timely responded. On February 14th of 25, the trial court denied the motion, Appendix 98. Allen filed his notice of appeal on March 11th of 25 docket. On the afternoon of Monday, February 13th of 2017, they claim Allen killed 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams in a remote wooded area north of Monon High Bridge Trail in Delphi. This is all case law, I believe, right here. The Monon High Bridge Trail spans from Freedom Bridge over the Hoosier Heartland Highway on the northwest side and ends at the Monon High Bridge to the southeast. The High Bridge is an abandoned, dilapidated railroad track that spans 852 feet and is 65 feet high over Deer Creek. This is the area Kim was telling you she was at one point earlier when we first started.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I just said, yep.
And this is also the place that Lee, with Devil's Advocates, and his wife went to. They flew their drone over that, so on and so forth. Very scary area, folks, period. Wooden platforms extending out from the sides of the tracks occur periodically along the bridge. The first platform was approximately 50 feet out from the start of the bridge. The trail dead ends at the far side of the bridge, where both sides slopes sharply downhill. Parking to access the trail is located both near Freedom Bridge and further east at a side entrance on County Road 300 North, known as the Mears Entrance. So footnote number 1 claims that due to the voluminous pretrial and trial exhibits, the state refers to the documentary exhibits as by exhibit volumes and PDF page number, the conventional. So all these things up here, this is what they're talking about. Okay. The pretrial exhibits. I'm sorry. The conventional trial exhibits are referred to by exhibit number, letter, and timestamp. If relevant, conventional pretrial exhibits also contain a hearing date where needed for clarity. Exhibits tendered in connection with the Franks motion and the motion to correct error are designated. Exhibit 6 is drone video of the current day trail with vast improvements to the trail and the first section of the High Bridge. And what they've done is they've gone out and built a platform to where you can't walk across the bridge now with a fence around it. Hey, Meg, good to see you. 1 minute. Thank you, Fizzy. I will point that out here after the fact. Even though it's just interesting how they did it is what I'll say. So, it takes about 10 minutes to walk the trail from bridge to bridge. On February 13th of 17, Delphi schools were closed and the weather was unseasonably warm. Delphi High School sophomore Brianne Wilbur and Riley Voorhees, along with Voorhees' 2 younger sisters, arrived at the Monon High Bridge or trail around 12:25 p.m. By 12:43 p.m., the group had walked from Freedom Bridge to High Bridge. Allen, who lived in Delphi and was familiar with the area, also went to the trail that afternoon. Surveillance video captured Allen's black 2016 Ford Focus driving westbound on CR 300 north toward the Freedom Bridge side at 1:27 p.m. He parked at the old CPS building and walked onto the trail. On their return, as they neared Freedom Bridge about 1:30 p.m., the group of girls encountered Allen as he walked in the opposite direction toward the High Bridge. Allen noticed the girls as they walked past him without speaking. Neither Voorhees nor Wilbur saw another man on the trail who looked like him. After reaching High Bridge, Allen walked out to the first platform. Now, this is the brief of Appellee State of Indiana. It says Betsy Blair, who was an eyewitness, also went to the trail that afternoon to walk. Surveillance video showed her car driving eastbound on CR 300 North at 1:46 p.m. She parked at the Mears entrance and entered the trail there. Just before 1:49 p.m., LG Libby German's older sister, Kelsey, had dropped Libby and Abby off at the Mears entrance of the trail. Both girls were familiar with the trail. Libby's father, Derek, planned to pick them up later that afternoon. As the two walked toward the high bridge, Libby sent a Snapchat message to Wilbur asking if she was still at High Bridge. Wilbur responded that they had left about 10 minutes earlier. So that right there in itself, you guys, where they were there to meet them, I believe, okay? I always have. Why are you still here? We're here. They were going to meet up, I think, okay? I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I just want to put that out there and put that out there for you guys to think about. When Blair reached the high bridge around, this is going back up to the one we spoke with at the beginning, Betsy Blair. Okay. When she reached the high bridge around 2 p.m., she saw a man, now known to be Allen, allegedly. And I will say that throughout because of what I believe, standing on the first platform of the bridge. As Blair circled back to the Mears entrance, she passed by Libby and Abby as they walked toward the high bridge. Blair did not see anyone else on the trail. Libby and Abby proceeded on to High Bridge and walked toward the southeast end. Libby took a photo of Abby on the west bridge. On the bridge at 2:07 p.m. At 2:13, Libby took a 43-second video from the far end of the bridge, showing Abby cautiously walking toward Libby and a man initially denominated Bridge Guy by police, now known to be allegedly Allen, following her. I believe the Bridge Guy is Ron Logan, folks, just so you know. Bridge Guy wore a blue jacket, blue jeans, a brown hat or hood on his head, and sneakers or boots. The audio captured the following. Abby says, "Is he right there? Is he right there?" Abby says, "Don't leave me up here." Libby says, "See, this is the path." Libby, whispering, says, "That is a gun." Libby says, "There's no path here. We have to go down here." Bridge Guy says, "Guys." Libby says, "Hi." Bridge Guy says, "Down the hill." And again, I still believe that those things were spliced together for some reason. It just doesn't sound right to me. It's looped and spliced. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, because there's a more extended version of that Bridge Guy video that came out after the fact. And I still think there's more to it than that, too. But anyway,
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, agreed. 7 seconds after the video ended, either Libby or Abby tried unsuccessfully to biometrically unlock the cell phone. Libby's Apple Health app captured the girl's movement. This is what we need right here in the Idaho case for everybody. The health app, guys. Allen brought the girls down. I'm sorry. The Bridge Guy brought the girls down the steep incline. This is what they're alleging, toward Deer Creek, where he later confessed that he intended to sexually assault. I don't believe that either. Because I'd never heard him say that he was going to do that ever. Never, ever, never, ever. Between High Bridge and Deer Creek was a single dirt driveway at the end of County Road 625 West that led to the Weber property. Allen saw a van, Brad Weber, who was the neighbor to Ron Logan, just so you guys know, driving home from work along that driveway, which scared him and changed his plans. Allen ordered the girls to cross the 100-foot wide creek, again, allegedly. And at some point, allegedly, Allen ordered the girls to undress, and various pieces of the girls' clothing were discarded in the creek. Libby's tie-dyed shirt and camisole, one of Libby's Nike tennis shoes, and Abby's jeans and underwear, together but turned inside out. Abby's gray hooded sweatshirt and a sock. Allegedly, Allen took the girls north of Steep Creek bed to a secluded valley area that was difficult to see from the creek, the steep hillside to the north and the Weber property to the south. Libby was unclothed, while Abby was clothed, partially in her own clothing, but wearing Libby's wet jeans and Libby's sweatshirt. Abby's tennis shoes were wet and dirty, consistent with the creek bottom. Allen cut both the girls' necks with a box cutter. Abby sustained one partial transection of her left exterior jugular vein. Libby sustained at least 3 separate injuries, a partial transection of her right common carotid artery. Jesus, I need my glasses. And complete transections of both her left common artery and her exterior jugular vein. Allen placed tree branches and sticks on their bodies. Um, Libby's cell phone registered no movement after 2:32 p.m. At 3:11 p.m., Libby was not answering phone calls from her father, Derek. Walked to the Freedom Bridge trailhead where he encountered Dave McCain coming from the high bridge. McCain had not seen the two girls. Derek alerted family that the girls were not at the trailhead and that Libby was not answering her phone. Family quickly assembled and searched the Monon High Trail Bridge. And in Delphi, as he left the scene, Allen kept off the trail to avoid being seen, allegedly. About 4 p.m., Sarah Carbaugh saw a man not known to be Allen walking along the north side of CR 300 north as she was driving eastbound. He was hunched forward with his hands in his pockets, much like Libby's video. She noted that he was covered in mud and had fresh blood splatters on his light-colored jeans. Now, this has changed twice, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It went, if you remember that, Kim, it was that he was covered in mud, then he was covered in blood, then he wasn't covered in one or the other. It's just been a mess. So,
Yeah, that's documented.
right. So at around 5 p.m., law enforcement and Abby Williams' mother were notified that the girls were missing. Search teams scoured the trail and areas near High Bridge at until 2 a.m. when the search was called off for the night. So there's where the search stopped, was at 2 a.m. There was one person from if I remember correctly, that was posted in the area, or maybe two, but I swear it was one, just to kind of keep eyes on the situation for that area, okay?
Yeah, he was like up on the like cliff kind of
Right.
part where you could see
Right.
the whole like ravine area, but it's so
Yeah.
overgrown. I mean, that was February, so yeah, there wouldn't have been as much foliage, but still.
Well, and if there's multiple people involved, you have people that are watching, in my
Mhm.
opinion, for who's around and who's not. And you have the ability to transport things and people. Ron Logan, from my understanding, had more than one side by side type vehicle on his property that he owned. And it would be easy to throw somebody in these two little girls in a side by side, drive them down and around and place them where they were found. If you had to. I'm just saying. This is not far fetched for me.
Mhm.
So, around 5 p.m., law enforcement, Abby's mother, were notified that the girls were missing. Search teams scoured the trail area until 2 a.m. when the search was called off for the night. Law enforcement also checked in with Brad Weber, who was the neighbor to Ron Logan again, who allowed a deputy to look around his property for the girls.
Yeah, but they didn't go in the buildings. They didn't go in his
Did not.
buildings.
They did not. That is true. And that's a problem. Why didn't they go in those buildings?
Yep.
Were they not given permission to? Did they ask permission to go and look in these buildings? Okay. The search resumed the next morning on February 14th. About noon, searchers along the side of a Deer Creek found some of the girls' clothing tangled in branches in the water. Searchers were directed to the north side of the creek. Access was made by going down the steep hill that ran south of the cemetery on CR 300 north. The girls' bodies were discovered behind mature trees north of the creek. Blood pooling on the ground, blood transfer patterns, and DNA testing indicated that Libby's injuries were inflicted next to a small tree to the west of the girls' bodies. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not true. These girls' injuries did not happen where they were found. I will tell you that too. There's no way, in my opinion, that's possible. They were murdered somewhere else and then brought to the scene they were found at, in my opinion, okay?
There wasn't enough blood there.
Nowhere close to enough blood there.
No.
She was completely drained of all her blood, folks. All of it. Where was it then?
Yeah.
You show me where it was on that scene because it didn't exist. I'm not sorry. I'm trying to follow the chat, guys. I'm not doing very well, but I want to read through this, so bear with me. I'm not ignoring you. I promise you. I've been accused recently of not paying attention to my chat, but I try my best.
Please.
Normally, I
Yeah.
promise.
Do the best we can.
The blood pooling on the ground, blood transfer patterns, and DNA testing indicated that Libby's injuries were inflicted next to a small tree to the west of the girl's body. After touching the tree with her bloody hand and or arm and creating an inverted L. This is bullshit, I'm telling you. That marking that was on the tree was a rune, an Odinistic rune. I matched it. It's identical, folks. That was not her hand. That's what they said it was. After touching the tree with her bloody hand and or arm and creating an inverted L shape in the blood, Libby walked away towards Abby and sat or kneeled on the ground where she either fell unconscious or died in a large pool of blood. Alan then allegedly dragged Libby's body by her left arm to her final resting place behind the large tree. Although some of the blood flow on Abby's face suggested her head had been moved or turned, she was injured and died where she was found. Abby was already clothed when the fatal injury was inflicted. Neither girl showed defensive wounds or outward signs of sexual assault. A small amount of male DNA, perhaps simply from environmental factors, was detected in the external genital swabs of both Abby and Libby and from fingernail scrapings from both girls, but it was insufficient, an insufficient amount of DNA for analysis. Real quick.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine
Right.
that.
Conveniently, right?
Yeah.
Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers.
Just in case, guys. Libby's cell phone and her other tennis shoe were removed underneath. Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 minute. Kim, can you see this okay?
If you took the chat down off the screen.
Is there any way you could read that for a quick second and I'll be right back?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
It starts with Abby Williams. Oh, okay. Libby's cell phone and her other tennis shoe were discovered underneath Abby Williams' body. The video of their kidnapping was found on the phone. So we've heard audio. They have the whole video. The phone had condensation and moisture on the screen, had connected on and off from the cell tower all afternoon on the 13th, but lost cell tower connection between 5:45 p.m. on the 13th and 4:33 a.m. on the 14th. That's what I was talking about, like way after they had been searching for them at 4:33 a.m. It had like turned on and off. Right there. And 4:33 a.m. on the 14th, when it momentarily reconnected before it powered off. Then it's going to go on to talk about the bullet that was found, an unfired Winchester brand 40 caliber cartridge was found in the leaves. Perfect timing.
Between the girls' bodies. Later ballistic testing showed that cartridge had been cycled through Allen's 6-hour model P22640. It did not show that. It showed that it was cycled through a 6-hour model. There's no way, and it wasn't even good science, folks. Obviously, because they had to fire it to make it match at all. Okay, the markings did not. Yeah, the markings did not match until she fired it through the barrel.
That's an important distinction. It was an unfired. It was an unfired bullet found at the scene, and the only way to make it match to Richard Allen was to fire it. Like that's like a done deal to me. Like that's reasonable doubt all day if I'm a juror.
That should have thrown it out of court right there.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But
that's all. Yeah, that's all they said. They had no DNA.
Nothing at all. On February 14th of 2017, Voorhees, Wilbur, and Blair told police about seeing a man on the trail platform from previous afternoon. Sorry, guys. And after seeing the bridge guy photograph from Libby's phone that was released to the media, they immediately identified Bridge Guy as the man they had seen that day. Carbaugh also came forward a few weeks after seeing the picture of the Bridge Guy and identified him as the muddy and bloody guy she had seen on the road on the 13th, or on February 13th. On February 16th, 2017, Allen reported to police that he was on the trail February 13th between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and walked past a group of 3 girls as he entered the trail near Freedom Bridge and walked the high bridge, which are the 3 girls that were there beforehand that were reached out to see if they were still there.
Mm-hmm.
Allen said that he saw no one else on the trail. Allen's report was misfiled under Richard Allen Whiteman and mistakenly marked cleared. Convenient. How about that? In September of 22, Allen's report was discovered in a box, and law enforcement began investigating him for the first time. On October 13th to 22, Allen met with Detective Tony Liggett and investigator Stephen Mullen. Allen confirmed that he walked to High Bridge on February 13th to 17, saw 3 girls, 1 older and 2 small, similar-looking younger ones who were possibly sisters, as he entered the trailhead, and then went on to the first platform on High Bridge to watch the fish. Allen now claimed that he was on the trail earlier from 12 to 1:30. He said that he probably was driving his 2016 Ford Focus. Allen said that he did not see anyone else on the trail that day, specifically not Bridge Guy. Allen
Can I just jump in real quick? Because I have to tell you guys, being up on that bridge, you can look down right into that creek area and you can see. Like, so when he says I was watching the fish, he's not lying. Like, you can.
Interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Meg kicked herself out of chat.
You might not want to do that, Miss Meg. Allen said, I'm sorry, specifically not Bridge Guy. Allen said that he was probably wearing a dark Carhartt jacket with a hood, blue jeans, either tennis shoes or work boots, and had a hat with him. Now, mind you, this was 6 years beforehand. And he was trying to remember what he was wearing that day. So it could have been anything, okay? He indicated that he might still have his cell phone from 2017. When confronted with a picture of Bridge Guy, Allen stated if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be me. Based on witness information and Allen's statement, a search warrant was obtained to search Allen's home. Officers recovered Allen's 6-hour P226 40 caliber handgun, Blazer 40 caliber ammunition, 1 unfired Winchester brand 40 caliber cartridge in a keepsafe box, a blue Carhartt jacket, several knives and box cutters. Mind you, he had 3 or 4 Carhartt jackets, just like I do and most other guys do. And photos showing Allen on the High Bridge in 2016. Allen still owned his 16 Ford Focus, although Allen had 12 other old cell phones in the master bedroom closet. Allen's cell phone from 17 was not found. Allen told ISP Lieutenant Jerry Holman, mind you, this investigator is a joke. Jerry Holman is bad news, okay, and so corrupt in my opinion. I'll just let you know. More than once during the search, it's over. Allen gave a second interview on October 26 of 22. Allen said that he did not have his handgun with him on the trail on February 13th of 17 and denied loaning it to anyone else. If he carried it, he would have the handgun in a side holster and round chambered. Allen had no explanation for how the cartridge cycled through his handgun, could have ended up at the scene, and denied the possibility that any cartridge at the scene could have come from his gun. Allen was arrested in early November following the filing of charges. The trial court ordered Allen to be transferred to the Department of Correction for safekeeping due to media and safety concerns. Bullshit. The DOC placed Allen at Westville Correctional Facility, a single-man cell in the restrictive housing unit.
Yeah, they said for safety.
Right.
Oh, my God.
And if I'm correct, the judge that did that, did they sent him to prison and then recused himself from the case? Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I remember something like, hey, altruistic.
There was somebody before Fran Gull? Oh,
I'll have to go back. It's been a long time.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Boy might know. The 12 by 8 cell had a bed, a toilet, a sink, a slot in the door through which his meals were served, and a narrow window for daylight. After Allen complained that scratches in the window made it hard to see out, the Department of Corrections replaced the window. Allen was given showers 3 per week. That's not true. Out of the cell recreation time, 5 times per week. That's not true. Out of cell recreation, I'm sorry. 3 sets of clothing and weekly laundry service, books and puzzles, and an electronic tablet that he could use to communicate with family. He didn't get to do any of that, okay? None of that. The tablet, he did, if I'm correct, he never got the tablet,
I
or
don't
he
think
wasn't
so.
allowed to use it or something like that. He could never use none of this stuff is right. I'll just tell you
No,
that.
no, he didn't get any of that. He was let out for that 1 hour, and his recreation was to go to a cage with a old raggedy, probably, I don't know, basketball hoop that had nothing else in there, maybe some weight equipment or something, and that's where he would freak out and did all that stuff with, like,
Yeah,
his poop and stuff.
right.
So even that was isolation.
Yeah, he had no communication with his family for like ever. Um,
Yeah.
when his first tablet broke, Allen did not have to pay for the usual fee for a replacement tablet, which if it broke, he didn't break it. Somebody else did on purpose, in my opinion. I'll just tell you right now.
Probably every time as soon as he got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I believe happened. Okay, sorry. Allen was offered a television for his cell, but declined it. I don't know anything about that. Allen could dim the cell's overhead lights. Allen was granted in-person visits with his wife, which is generally not permitted for restricted housing convicts. Pretty sure that never happened either. I don't know if I can't prove that.
Oh, I don't think she got to see him.
She never got to see him that I knew of, but this is all lies. Okay.
They kept her away.
Yeah. Allen had access to weekly chaplain visits upon request and received regular checks by medical staff. That didn't happen either. Although shackled while being transported outside his cell, Allen's shackles were removed during his sessions with Dr. Walla, the DOC psychologist. This is the fangirl, the YouTube fangirl doctor, just so you guys know. I can't believe they actually put this in documentation because it's all lies and bullshit. With his wife and attorneys, they removed his shackles for that. Again, him and Kathy never got to see each other. I can't remember how long it was, but although placed in the same kind of physical environment as convicted offenders in that unit, Allen was treated better, and the primary goal was to keep him safe from himself. What a crock of shit.
No.
That's an
Yeah.
absolute lie.
Yep.
The general population. The administrative and medical team met to discuss how to make Allen more comfortable. DOC policy restricted periods of solitary confinement to persons with serious mental illness to 30 days. But Allen's initial diagnosis of major depressive disorder and anxiety did not meet the definitions. Bullshit. Okay? Because he entered WCF on constant suicide watch with prior mental health diagnosis, this cell Allen was placed in was the suicide cell with a 24-hour video monitoring, and he was observed by suicide companions. Allen met with Dr. Walla daily, usually in a nearby room with a metal grate partition between them, and otherwise at his cell door. Allen was offered the opportunity to meet with Dr. Walla out of his cell at least once a week. During a session in early November, Dr. Walla advised Allen not to talk about his case with anyone, and she did not ask him questions about it during their sessions. That is a blatant lie, okay? Absolute blatant lie. She was telling him things like, you did this, didn't you, Rick? This is how you did it, isn't it, Rick? This is why you did it, isn't it, Rick? Stuff like that, okay, is what she was doing. And all of these things could have been granted to him. He never received them. Okay? That's a fact. There it is right there. You can be granted anything, but to have access is totally different. He may have been granted visits with Kathy, but she was
Exactly.
almost 300 miles away. There's nothing that they could have done. She couldn't get there.
I don't think she ever got to see him after he was arrested, honestly.
She didn't. She didn't at all. And Dr. Walla admitted to what I just told you guys, okay, on the stand. This is how she was talking to him. This is how you did it, isn't it, Rick? This is why you did it, isn't it, Rick? It's okay. We understand. You killed these girls, didn't you, Rick? This is what she was saying to him. Not, Rick, did you commit this crime? Rick, let's talk about this. None of this is true. Okay. Oh my God, this is pissing me off so bad, Kim. By December of 22, Alan was removed from constant suicide watch and placed on close observation. And he was only moved after 13 months of being in solitary because it was notified, authorities were notified that this was happening, and legally he couldn't have been kept in that cell that long. He was observed every 15 minutes, and Alan met with Dr. Walla once a week. Alan did well in his first months of 23. Alan found Jesus, accepted God into his heart in March of 23, and became increasingly concerned with religion. In late March and early April, Alan began receiving his legal discovery, and he had a visit with his attorneys on April 3rd or 4th. In April of 23, corresponding with those events, Alan's mental health quickly deteriorated.
You think?
Alan started to refuse meals and act out. On April 3rd, Alan told his wife, I did it. I killed Abby and Libby. The next day, Dr. Walla upgraded Alan back to constant suicide watch. Correctional officers were assigned to observe Alan, and Dr. Walla met with him every day. On April 5th, Alan confessed to Dr. Walla in a written note to the warden that he killed Libby and Abby. By the way, he also claimed when he did this that he shot them. Okay? He also claimed that he shot them with a gun. Neither one of the girls were ever shot.
Yeah.
Never.
This could be proven easily, I would think, to be a coerced. These were all people.
Oh my
say,
God.
well, 60 times.
Yes.
Yeah, 60 times of coercion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The man basically went insane, folks. He was kept in a cell, an 8x12 cell, for 13 months. That was let out. He was let out an hour a day, and I even questioned that he was let out that hour a day to walk around in circles in a cage that's smaller than the cell that he's in. Okay. That's it.
Literally, the cell was like bigger than like a bed, like a typical bed.
And I showed pictures last year of the recreation cell that he was in. It was full of water. There was water in the one corner. It was all rusted and nasty looking. There were rats and insects in here, guys.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to go in there. Okay. I'm just telling you that. It's disgusting what they were doing. It's a 6x6 cell, right?
That's as tall as not wide.
That's smaller than a bed.
Carlos wouldn't even be able to lay down in that. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Smaller than a bed.
He literally wouldn't.
And it was an unsafe cell. The ceiling was caving in. The walls were cracked. There was water in it. It was rust. I mean, it was a disgusting situation. All of it. He told Dr. Walla he acted alone and his intentions were sexual in nature. Never. Okay. And even if he did, again, coercion. Remember that. Dr. Walla warned Alan again, that it was not in his best interest to talk about this case. That's a lie, a blatant lie. 2 days later, on April 7th, Alan said that he killed Libby and Abby by himself and that he was just acting like he was crazy. They told him to say that. That's my opinion. I'll just say that.
They told him everything to say. I think they threatened him with everything.
They threatened his family
at first until they had him drugged out of his mind, and then they could just tell him what to say.
And I can't prove this. Okay, so allegedly, and in my opinion, Richard Allen was told that if he didn't go, Kim just disappeared. Where'd she go? That if he didn't follow along with this, that he'd never see his family again. Is what I believe happened, because he would constantly ask if they were okay. Welcome, Sandra. I don't know what happened to you, Kim. Where'd you go? Although warning Gallipo testified he was given the note. Hi there. Stop
I
pulling
fell
up.
out the window.
Although Warden Gallipo testified he was given the note on March 5th, the suicide companion's testimony and log and the DOC chain of custody forms show Allen delivered the note on April 5th. On April 8th and 9th and 10th, Allen made statements that he killed the girls and expressed remorse. During the ensuing days, Allen's behavior became increasingly bizarre, including drinking toilet water, smearing feces on himself and in his cell, and eating his own feces. Allen shifted quickly back to normal behavior if he wanted something, or he would have behave outrageously to get attention. I'm sorry. And again, I'm telling you, he was told that if he did not do what they told him to do or they wanted him to do, that his family, he'd never see his family again. That's why he
Oh, yeah.
repeatedly asked that question, in my opinion.
He was the only thing he cared about was his wife. And so I know they threatened his wife. You know?
1 second.
Hi, Sandra.
Sorry about that. My son was talking to me, and thank you, Meg. Where are we at? Shit. I'm gonna have to finish this paragraph, and we're gonna have to head out of here, guys. By April 13th, Allen's behavior was deemed severe enough to warrant medical intervention. The next day, Dr. Martin presented Allen's case to a treatment review committee, which agreed that Allen was exhibiting psychotic symptoms that warranted an involuntary injection of Haldol. Involuntary, meaning he had no idea they were going to do this, okay? An antipsychotic medication, psychosis ebbs and flows, and a person can slip in and out of psychosis in a 24-hour period. Allen was administered an injection of short-acting Haldol for 4 days and monitored for side effects. He received long-acting Haldol injections on April 18th, May 18th, and June 16th. And these were all hearing dates, if I'm correct.
That's what I was just going to ask. I'd be curious what was going on those days.
I think these were all hearing dates. And if you notice when Allen was in court during his hearings, folks, he was a zombie. He was basically doing everything but drooling, okay? Just sitting there. That's what he did. They didn't want him to talk, in my opinion. They didn't want him to say anything about what was going on as he was being confined, okay? Between April 14th through May 2nd, Allen's psychotic symptoms slowly improved. He continued to confess during that period, including an admission on April 29th that he had used a box cutter he stole from CBS to kill Abby and Libby, which doesn't match up to in my opinion. When we looked it up, it doesn't make sense. The blade doesn't detract far enough from a box cutter the box cutters they use. They're just these little metal things. The blade does not come out far enough for you to be able to go through and cut through a carotid artery or anything like that, folks. I'm just telling you.
And the blades are easy to totally come out.
Yeah.
Of the box cutter.
Absolutely. By May 2nd and 3rd, he had returned to baseline and no longer exhibited any significant psychosis. Allen was diagnosed as having suffered a brief psychotic disorder with marked stressors. On May 3rd, Allen gave his most detailed confession to the offenses to Dr. Walla. This was the first time that he mentioned that seeing a van was what scared him and caused him to forego sexually assaulting the girls. And again, Dr. Walla was the one that said, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea as to how this probably went, okay? More than likely, she said, Richard, did you see the van and it scared you and this is why this happened? That's what happened, right, Richard? That's how she was talking to him, folks. Not, please tell me how this happened and what happened. It wasn't anything like that. She was, in essence, in my opinion, sculpting his narrative for him, okay? The new piece of information that the van had driven by, which only the bridge guy would have known, led investigators back to Brad Weber. And here's the thing. The only way that he would have known this is if Dr. Walla would have told him this, okay? Remember that. Weber's work records shows that he clocked out of the Subaru plant in Lafayette at 2:02 p.m. on February 13th. Weber confirmed that he had driven his van to work that day and went straight home, which would have placed the van on his driveway near High Bridge and the creek shortly after the girls were kidnapped. Allen continued to confess many more times to Dr. Walla, watch companions, and his family through May and June, and even as late as February. Additional facts will be provided as necessary to the issues. All right. So we're going to stop there for today. And I will be picking this up tomorrow quite a bit earlier than I did today. So I'd love to have you back for this, Kim, if you're able to and available tomorrow.
Okay.
It'll be like early in the afternoon. It won't be anything like this. I just had so much going on. I'm sorry I was late today, you guys, but maybe like 1, something like that, maybe.
Okay.
Depends. If you can't, don't worry about it. But I want you to know you're welcome here because I'd love to have your insight into this as well.
Okay. Yep.
And I will give you the rest of this then, guys, and close it out. And I'm sorry. I wanted to show everybody a synopsis of what happened in this case. That way you will have the visual in your mind of how this stuff went down, what went down, why it went down, and who this involves, okay? There'll be more to that as well as we continue with this because this is something I'm very passionate about. I know this man is innocent of this crime, and I will do everything I can to prove what I feel on this. So thank you, Kim, for joining me. As always, I appreciate you very much. By the way, I did get to review your show today. You did a great job, as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me up. I want to get back on top of this case, and thanks for doing this. This is awesome because hopefully we're going to have a hearing, a trial.
We are definitely going to be doing it. And I will be just as deep into this case as I was Idaho, folks. Again, just so you know. Tomboy is very well versed in this. Miss Kim's very well versed in this, and a few of us in here are very well versed in this, and we'll be pushing every bit of this we can to find some truth here. So thank you all very much. Thank you to the mods as always. Again, Kim, thanks for gracing us with your awesome presence. You're amazing. Make sure you guys tune in tonight, 8 p.m. here in a few minutes with Devil's Advocates, Bronx Tales, True Crime. Come hang out with us. It'll be a great show. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light. A reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear. The sound of justice, the only thing we hear at the TruCrime Cafe. We watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is marked and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the count